Calvin Castine, a little bit off camera, but on camera is the man of the hour right now, Mr. Kevin Mulligan, the, let's see, school superintendent and high school principal. How's that title go? Is that how it goes?
Actually, junior, senior high principal.
Oh, excuse me.
Yes, and superintendent. And cafeteria manager.
When I went to school, I went to St. Mary's, so we didn't have, but I know over at Champlain Central, Dan Marr was pretty much the same type of thing. That was kind of normal.
The district principal days.
Yeah.
Then superintendents evolved, but the district principals, they basically ran the whole show. I believe the very first superintendent for Chazy was it was Bill Prue, and actually it was Mr. Pombrio. I believe that's when they finally used the term superintendent. But prior to that, it was the district principal.
So you're going back to the 50s or 60s there, probably.
Yep.
Okay. And Chazy has remained kind of an island here, never centralized, so to speak. Pretty much the same as it was back almost 100 years ago when Mr. Minor fathomed all this.
Very, very close. 1916 was the first school. Was the old school was built and started, and Chazy's Central Rural School became really the first centralized rural school. They took 11 schools, elementary schools, and there was one junior high school. There was no high school in Chazy at that point in time, so they probably went to either St. Mary's or Champlain, or perhaps in the Plattsburgh, those that went on to school. But in 1916 is when it started. But what remains is Chazy is still what I would call a community school for this area. So it's unique.
Yeah, I think
in Clinton County, certainly.
Yeah, and some of these remain obviously in Essex County, and I think the other only last remaining one until recently was Dannemora.
That's correct.
And,
yep.
Now part of the Saranac Central School District. So we have a lot of traditions here at Chazy. We're going to get into those in a moment, but first, I was in Rouse's Point this morning and taped their kindergarten graduation, and they said goodbye to another Mulligan there.
Yeah.
You aware of that?
Yeah. Matter of fact, Calvin, I saw you there. I certainly had to go see my wife's last graduating class. It was hard to believe when Rob Guerin said the class of 2022. I said, "My God, I'll be in my 70s at that point in time." But yeah, Barbara is retiring after 23 years, I believe, at Rouse's Point. But total service as an educator has been 32 years.
Yeah, we first ran into her as an educator at St. Mary's, where she was teaching
and she used to run the Friendship Nursery School at Three Steeples Church before that.
Oh, okay.
So, yeah. So she's retiring, and of course I'm retiring, so we're going out together.
In a blaze of glory.
Yeah.
I can mention Rob Guerin saying that 2022. I can still remember taping a kindergarten graduation, and they're saying, "Here's the class of 2000," and boy, that seemed like a long time into the future. And that was now. That taping was 22 years ago, and that graduating class was 10 years ago.
Yeah, but you have you still have some salt and pepper in your hair, which is more than I can say.
It's all natural too. Well, I cheer for the Yankees, so it's a lot easier on your.
Yes. Congratulations. Today you finally are in first place. So all that money has got you tied for first.
Well, yeah. Money well spent.
Yeah.
Okay, let's talk about, I'm here today to tape Class Day. And since 1986, only 1 year I didn't tape it. I can't remember if it was 99 or 2000. Nobody from the school called me. And so I called and said, "When's Class Day?" "Oh, that was yesterday,
Mm-hmm.
So I didn't tape that one, but every year since 1986, so this will be about 24 that I have taped, one that I have missed. But it's been going a lot longer than that.
Yes, it goes back to 1928, I believe, was the first Class Day that took place. The first class to graduate from Chazy was the class of 1920, and there's a yearbook that, for many years, every graduating senior got a yearbook. one of the original yearbook.
Right.
But 1928, William H. Minor conceived the idea and basically structured as far as the class colors, the class song, the class flower, the class bird. There's been a few things that have been added. Not too much has been taken away, but a few little additions. They have a class animal now, but there's only 4 animals, and there's 4 colors, and there's 4 songs. Everything,
Yeah, the class
is
colors
centered
are
around
different
that.
than the Shazy Green. They
Right.
have their own
Right.
color, so they have the 4, and when this class graduates, they pass on that color to the 8th grade class,
Yep.
which will be
Yep. And then you have the banners, the class banners, and they reflect obviously the class colors. So it's a very unique idea rather than the school colors to have
Yeah.
your individual class colors. So
yeah. And do you know the 4 animals offhand?
there's 2 of them I know. One is the raccoon, and one is the hawk. The other 2 escape me, but
Nothing personal to you kids that are.
no, it's just
He's
for
old.
one
He's
reason or
old.
the other I remember
This is why he's
the
retiring.
raccoon and the hawk.
But none of them are eagles, because that's the school.
No, that's right. Yep. So, and then you have the Shazy alma mater, but then each class has their own song, and that's what you're going to be hearing today. Will be the class song will be sung by the students. The alma mater will be part of graduation ceremony. So,
Okay.
but this event actually, in many respects, is probably overshadows, I guess would be the best word, graduation. It's much more tradition, much more formal, if you will. Graduation tends to be a little looser, still respectful, but a little less formal.
Yeah, when I first started taping these, that's what I was told immediately. The seniors would be more apt to miss graduation than they would be to miss class day.
That's correct. And every senior is entitled to one class day. Of course, every graduating senior is entitled to one graduation, but
Right.
if you have a student, for example, that may not be graduating, and fortunately
Who's a senior.
this year we do not, present today we have none, okay,
That aren't graduating.
that aren't graduating. We have that senior that might be taking a 5th year could take part in class day with their class this year and not be part of class day next year, and that has happened.
Okay.
So,
Now, I know you've got to get in there because this is important at the. Ooh, it's getting close.
and you
here.
got to get set up
Yeah,
too.
yeah. But just one quick, the school's getting recognized for
Yes,
this? TAUNY?
as a matter of fact, TAUNY, which is Traditions and Arts of Upstate New York, they're based out of Canton. They have a gentleman by the name of Vera Chittenden that's here today, and they also brought a photographer. Her name's Marty. I haven't caught her last name. That are filming, and they're going to be presenting us with the Heritage Award in October. I believe it's October 16th or 17th that we're going to be presented that, and it's basically for the tradition of class day, which I found out about for consideration was actually back in April. And then in May, the official recognition was given.
Okay.
So that's going to take place in Canton, and there's going to be representatives from the school, and I'll be retired, and I probably will stop by on my way through, on my way to maybe Buffalo or
Okay.
wherever.
Say howdy.
Yeah.
Okay, well, we won't hold you up any longer because we know we don't want to have the tradition of the school superintendent being seated in time. So we'll,
But one thing I'd just like to add, Calvin, I've certainly, with my job at Northeastern Clinton when I was a middle school principal and serving certainly as a superintendent here, I want to thank you and Sam for all your support for the schools of Northern New York. Okay?
well,
Thanks,
thanks,
Calvin.
Kevin. Thank you.